Okay, back on our Chevelle dash repairs. Left off in the last video, we just finished up the lower edge windshield bed patch panel that we needed to put in to fix the rust that was present there. And if you remember in the beginning of that video, I showed some other rust that was in this dash. And we've got here on this corner, and runs right along the edge. It's kind of bad. And then there's another spot here. Now this here didn't show. The dash pad covered it, but we're going to fix that anyhow. And these small areas here, this actually showed below the dash pad, and it looked hideous. So I just couldn't believe that somebody had actually painted the dash with it looking like that. But you know, some people do funny things. So anyhow, we're going to go through this dash. We're going to fix those areas that need attention, and then we're going to prep the whole dash and get it repainted so that everything matches up really well. And we're going to prep the steering column and paint it to match with the rest of the dash, because all the rest of the interior surfaces have been painted on this except that steering column. So I don't, again, there's so many things on this car, I don't understand why they were done the way they were. But we're going to do it right. So we'll get the dash prepped and we'll get everything painted up and it'll all be the same. Okay, the first thing I did to start repairing this dash, I noticed that right in here there was a gap, and when I squeezed the dash together, these fit together. So this had split and was kind of pulling apart. So I wanted to get this back where it needed to be first, and being as it was rusted all the way around here, I figured the easiest thing for me to do would be to make a small piece to fill in behind here. And I just squeezed the dash together. I had my piece clamped in there, squeezed it together, and just tacked the center up to fill in the gap, which made this solid again. So now the dash doesn't want to pull apart. So now when I make these pieces, they'll be right where they need to be, and the dash will be how it's supposed to be, back normal again. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do here yet, because there's this little body line here where the dash pad sits right on the edge of it, and it's going to be a little bit of a trick to make that, because you got your two little areas here with this body line in the center. So I have to see how I'm going to do this yet. I may just put some backer pieces behind here and then fill in the holes, fill in that hole. We'll see as we go along. I'll bring you back when I figure it out. Okay, I got one patch made on the front part. I made a piece that I put behind where the hole was, and then I built it up with some weld and filled it in, got it ground down. It actually fits pretty nice. And I've made a second piece that's going to go on top. I'm going to actually cut the bad section of the dash out, and this will lay in here like that. I've got my little profile edge there, and I'll take you over to the vise and show you how I made this piece. Okay, to make this patch piece, I took a piece of scrap that I had, and I figured out where I needed my brake at, my small brake for that profile edge on the inside. Just clamp it in the vise and just knock it over with a hammer until you get the desired angle. And then that dash also has a curvature to it. As you can see on the edge of here, it's curved. So what I do is I just set it in my vise upside down, right in this corner of the vise, and just use a body hammer and tap along the edge here until you start to get a roll in it. And you just got to work it until you get the desired profile that you need. And did the same thing here, where this comes up to where the dash instrument cluster is. It kind of rolls up, so it's got a compound curvature to it. So I did the same thing and just took my piece, stuck it in here, gave it a few taps with the hammer to get the curvature going that way. And I set it in on the dash and it actually fits pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and cut that section out and put this whole piece in and get rid of that bad metal. Okay, a couple hours have gone by and I've got this whole area all fixed. Now, when doing a repair like this, most of the time you have to do these in sections. So I showed you the first piece I made, which was from about here over to about here was one piece, and that was a piece in there, first piece I did. And then I did a short piece here, and then all I had left was a small hole here, which I put a backer piece in, and then just kind of built this in with weld and ground it down and shaped it to where it needs to be. So that's pretty much how the dash repair is going. We got a nice strong dash again, doesn't move, no more separation. On this end of it, we still have this end to fix with these holes, and I got a couple small holes here, so I'll fix those. These other dimples you see in there, that's from some rust. We'll just fill those with some glazing putty, make it smooth that over. And same thing with this. This will just need a real thin coat of Bondo or glazing putty, whichever I choose to use on this, just to smooth it over. Most of this gets covered by the dash pad, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it making it disappear. The more important areas along here, as this will be seen, and I'll put the dash pad on here and show you what that looks like with the dash pad on. Okay, I installed the dash pad, and as you can see, none of the upper part of that repair shows at all. The only thing that shows is this line in here, a little body line that it has along the upper part of the glove box opening. So really, if I wanted to, I could leave that under part without really doing any body work to it, because you're not going to see it. And once it's installed, the holes on this side are covered. So as much as I don't want to leave those holes there, I'm going to leave that decision up to the customer. I'm going to shoot him a text and see if he wants me to spend the time fixing them, or if he's fine with them just being there and they're covered up by the dash pad. But this area that was showing is now fixed. And let's see, with the dash pad installed, as you can see here, it comes right up to the front repair, the patch panel that we put in under the windshield. It comes right up to the edge of it, so there'll be a minimum amount of body work to do on this end. That side shows a little bit more, so we'll blend that up into underside of where the dash pad is, and then you'll never know that that repair was done. This will have to be done fairly nice where the defroster grates are, because you will see that in here. Okay, on this patch here, I made it out of a scrap piece I had. And this is why it's good to keep extra pieces of metal from floor pans or whatnot you may get and not use the entire pan. This is part of a floor pan that I didn't use the whole pan for. I just needed a patch out of it. But it has a similar contour to what the dash edge is here. So in order to make my patch quicker and easier, I just laid this up here so I could get the right profile edge around it. And what I did, hold my Sharpie, keep my finger on the edge of the dash, and just run right along that profile edge. And that'll give me the right shape that I need, or give me really close to it. Then I can trim it and cut it to fit. But saving extra pieces of metal, you never know when they're going to come in handy. As long as you got a place to keep them where they're not in the way, you know, then you got extra stuff to use. Alright, continuing on with the 65 Chevelle repairs to the windshield. I've done my first coat of body filler to blend in that edge where it meets the dash. And again, this area, you're only going to see the very edge of it where it meets. So I just need to hide this and just blend it back into the dash where we're going to repaint all this. This area in here where the defroster grate is, this will all be seen, so this has to be done in a manner that won't be visible at all because it's kind of cut out around here, so you'll see all of that in there. And what I use to do repairs anywhere where there may be some moisture or a lap joint like that, or some place that you may need to be able to make a nice sculpted edge in something, or add a door gap on a fiberglass car, I use a U-POL Fiberlight. It's a sandable fiberglass filler. A lot of people are familiar with Bondo or 3M's. They call it kitty hair or tiger hair. This is a similar product. It does have fiberglass strands in it, but I like the way this spreads better than those other companies' materials. This really can spread out smooth, and as you can see, it even will sand out to a nice smooth finish. Now this has some areas in it, I don't know if you can see this here, but there are some areas that need some more filler in them, and I'll go back over all of this with some polyester scratch putty, because it'll fill in those little small areas like that, and it's easy to sand off, and it'll give me a nice clean finish when this is all done. So that's where I'm at with this so far. I ran the camera on time lapse, so you got to see some of the sanding process. So I got to go ahead and finish the back side of the dash here and get this initial sanding done, and then I'll come back and do my other filler on here and get that to where it looks nice and you won't see any of the repair, and then it'll be ready for some priming. Alright, a little update on where we're at with the dash repairs in the 65 Chevelle. I started sanding down the dash, the old paint, getting it ready for some primer and a seal coat and the new paint. And as I was sanding down here, I noticed some spots where we've got more rust holes. So we got some more repairs to do on the dash, and I figure since I'm going to be fixing those, I'll probably just end up fixing both of these holes too. Somebody had drilled holes in the dash for switches at some point, so we might as well fill those, weld those up, and finish those off nice so that when the dash gets finished, it'll be finished off nice. The owner of this car, he kind of likes to do things right that weren't done right, and there was a lot of stuff on this car that just was not done right. I found so much dirt and grime and crap on the back side, underside of this dash in here. I just can't believe that nobody even put forth the effort to run a vacuum down through there before they put the interior together in this car. Bringing you up to speed on the Chevelle project, I went ahead and decided to take the steering column out of the car because the collars on the column really look bad. The column had been painted blue, which was the wrong color. These columns are supposed to be black, but the column covers where your shifter stalk would go and your turn signal housing goes, and the steering wheel itself, they were all color keyed to the interior colors. So this was correct to be painted blue, but the column not. It should have been black. So I scuffed everything down. I just used some 320 paper off of a roll and just hand sanded everything down real quick, wiped it, sprayed it with some self-etching primer, and did the column with some trim black that comes in a spray can, aerosol can. So that's finished off the way it should be. Tomorrow I got to head to the paint store and see if I can get the color matched that was on the dash, and then we can start prepping the dash for paint. It's about ready. I just got to finish cleaning up, mask everything off, get the interior cleaned up and masked off, and we can start spraying. I got to spray some epoxy primer first, and then I'm going to do a sealer coat on the dash itself and on the column, these column covers here. I'm going to leave the wheel for right now because I'm not sure if he's going to keep this wheel, and it needs a lot of repairs. It's got a lot of cracks in it. You can see these cracks, but it's got a lot of cracks. So he may want to just change it to a different steering wheel, so I'm not going to bother spending the time on that right now, cleaning it up, fixing it, and painting it. So we'll get some paint tomorrow, and hopefully by the end of this week, this dash will all be painted, steering column back in, and hopefully maybe even the windshield back in the car. Sand the dash. No, on the top. You got to get the top sanded. Yep, up there. Get the top sanded.
I hope Ashton. Yeah. I'll buy it. Okay. How do you do it, Ashton? Why he the top? Okay. Can I try? Yeah. Okay. No top. Okay.
These two are my cheapest workers. They work for cookies. Okay, since we've got all our dash rust repairs fixed and body work all done, and we're getting ready to get the paint work finished up, I thought I'd break this video up into two pieces. So the next video I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through the painting process, where we prep everything on the dash, get everything cleaned up, masked up. As you can see, I've already started to mask it, get the steering column ready, glove box door ready, and go through the process of painting, just so you can finally see me paint something. I know all these videos I've been doing, it's just been a lot of metal work, rust repair, some suspension work. So we're going to do a little bit of painting on the dash, and I figured it'd be a good chance to see some paint work, the process I go through and getting everything ready for paint and applying the paint that I use. So Ashton has been helping me out here on this car, getting the dash sanded out, so it's about ready, and we're going to finish this up today and get everything ready to start painting. But I wanted to thank everybody for continuing to watch the channel. It's been getting a lot of views, so I appreciate that. Just remember the watch time is important to get me up to a position where I can do a little bit more on YouTube. So let the videos play through. Sit back, have a drink, get a snack, enjoy what I'm doing. Share all these videos with everyone you know, ask them to subscribe. Leave me some comments, let me know what you might like to see in some upcoming videos. I got a lot of projects going on, so we're going to be moving on to some other things after we get this get the Chevelle done. We'll probably get back on the Challenger project for a little bit. So again, thanks everybody for watching. You want to say anything, Ashton?
No.
And tell everybody goodbye. See you again soon.
Bye.
Okay, see you again soon, guys.
See ya.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye bye.